Coach, the main reason you started the fitness business was to get freedom, to control your time. But here's the problem. You leave the gym floor and you go online. The reason why you leave the gym floor is to get away from one-to-one and feeling tied down to clients where you need to be there in order to make money. But the problem is when you build an online business and you get to maybe 30, 40, 50 clients, you start to feel the same way. You can't go on holiday, you can't take a day off without worrying that your clients are going to get pissed off and they're going to see you taking a break, resting, going on holiday, having time with your family, and they're not going to be able to get the support they need. And that's a big problem. Why? Because you've essentially recreated the exact same scenario on the gym floor, but in your online business. And here's the truth. Whenever it comes to building an online personal training, fitness business, nutrition business, you don't really think about building a team because these are careers, businesses that are often associated with the coach. Well, here's the truth. If you keep running your business with a coach mindset, you're going to end up burnt out, overwhelmed, frustrated, and your customers are going to receive that service, which means inevitably your reputation is at risk and you're going to leave a lot of money on the table. In this video, I want to run you through exactly how to build a small, tight-knit, highly profitable team that grows your status, helps you get better results, and most importantly, helps your business grow financially without you working more hours. In fact, you'll work way less. By the end of this video, I would like you to be able to double, if not quadruple your business with working half as much. No word of a lie, that's exactly what you're gonna get from this video. So I want you to come with me and pay attention. Let's go. The first thing that I want to talk about is the opportunity inside the fitness space. If you go into your local town or city, you'll realize that overweight people are everywhere, mental health problems are on the rise, and the desire to look good is greater than ever before. So if you sell nutrition, strength training, martial arts, expertise in anything related around body composition or health, then this is the season to double down. But the big problem is that if you are the main source of value in the business, then you can only get the business to a certain level. And the business that you have is only going to grow to your level of capacity. And your capacity is essentially your bandwidth, your energy. You start every single day with 100% energy. And here's what happens. I want you to run through this exact drawing with me. Watch this. Let's say that you start every single day with 100% focus, 100% energy. You then get into your day and you maybe have some personal issues in the back of your mind, maybe some drama going on with a relationship or your family or life in general. And let's say that sucks around 10 to 15% out of you. Let's go with 10. You're automatically down to 90. Then automatically you go and look into your inbox and you realize that a client once sent a couple of receipts, a couple of invoices, and you look at the administration that you're doing. Your accountants are asking you for receipts and all this kind of stuff, and there's a further 10% gone. So before you even start doing anything in your business, you're already at 80% firepower. Now, when we look at the roles and functions of a business functions off three core areas. The first one is marketing, which is getting attention. The second is sales. And the third is client success or delivery, fulfillment, whatever you want to call it. Now, here's the truth. You're already at 80%, but you realize that you've got to post on Instagram. You've got to create content, you've got to write it, you've got to shoot it, you've got to structure it, you've got to think, is this right? You've got to make an offer. And that can deplete 30% of your energy. So you've gone from 80% after those admin tasks and those personal worries, take off another 30%, which brings you down to 50%. So you've got 50% left for sales and 50% left for client success. Sales is really demanding. If you've ever gone on a call and you're having to deal with objections and tell people why they should work with you, you'll know that after a full day of sales, it's kind of stressful. And if you're looking at your calendar every single week and you're kind of hoping that people would secretly cancel even though you want to take their money, it's kind of like, this probably isn't what you should be doing. So From a sales calls perspective, we're going to drop another 30% energy. On top of that, I'm going to include the outreach. So that includes DMing, chasing up leads, responding to people that have got questions. That takes up a lot of time. So you've got what left? 20% for the clients that are currently working with you, for the clients that are currently paying with you. That is a huge red flag. That is the reason why you need to build a team. Because when you build a team, it starts bringing energy back to you. And your number one focus in your business is to be the CEO of your business. And a CEO is responsible for three things: the vision of where you're going, the cash that you generate, and the team that you build. I totally get that you've built your business up to this point on your name, on your skills, and on your reputation, but that is only going to get you so far. That is generally going to get you to 10 to 20K per month. Inside that range of revenue, you will starting to be feeling overwhelmed, anxious, stressed out. Every time you go on holiday, you're trying to get rid of all the messages and make clients feel seen and heard before you leave. And then lo and behold, they message you in the morning of your first day on holiday and you feel like you have to get back. And your partner's saying to you, would you get off that phone? You're meant to be resting. And you know that you tell your clients to rest and go and enjoy themselves, but you don't do it. And here's the reason why that happens. It's because most coaches aren't good at business. They're good at coaching. But the reality is business is all about providing value to a marketplace. And in the example that I showed you, if you're only providing 20% of your energy to your clients, they are not getting the best of you. And that is a big problem. Why? Because you're going to get frustrated, you're going to get burnt out, you're going to give short, snappy answers, and you're not going to provide the value that you promised them that you could give. And somebody who has hired, even one hire, like say for example, somebody's hired out their sales, they get 30% back. So they're at a massive delivery opportunity, more than you. They've got more energy, they've got more focus, and they've got more drive to be able to support the clients because they've got 50% bandwidth left, not 20. So what I want to share with you is a run through of how the perfect fitness business should operate. And this is a business that can generate anything from 30 to 50K per month with you working less than 20 hours. Now I'm going to map it out, and then I'm going to run through the different hires. I'm going to run through the best time to hire, and then I'm going to run through what you would typically pay. Now I know that there's people watching this from all around the world, so I'm not going to put a currency with the numbers. I'm just going to break it down. So first things first, there's you, the CEO. The CEO, like I said, is responsible for vision, people, and cash. That is your role. Have the vision for the company, ensure that you've got the right people looking after your clients, and also ensuring that the business is profitable. So first things first, this is an org chart. CEO starts at the very top, and they're responsible for vision, people, and cash. The next layer down is having somebody that is an admin. An admin could be your partner, it could be somebody that you know, or it could be a combination of tech tools. To be honest, nowadays, an admin is pretty obsolete because if you're working from online, you're not really doing a lot of appointments, you're not doing a lot of traveling, you kind of control a lot of your own time. And if anything, ChatGPT and AI can do an awful lot of administrative tasks, and you can also set a lot of stuff on automation. You might need to book your odd flights, but I don't really think it's worth hiring somebody just to book flights and book appointments for you when you can do it all with technology and systems. So I'm going to put tech and systems here for the average person watching this. And of course, you could have a partner that helps you out there. You could hire somebody in, but generally speaking, tech, systems, and AI are really going to be the main thing that give you back a lot of time. So let's talk about the different departments. Let's talk about marketing. Okay, so in marketing, let's break down the roles of a marketing department. So first thing is you're going to need a graphic designer. You're going to need a videographer. You're going to need somebody to schedule content. You're going to need somebody that is going to help you. I'm not even going to put copywriting down there because AI can do all of that stuff now. So at a bare basic level, a graphic designer, a videographer, somebody to schedule content. And as you get bigger and you start using advertising, you'll need somebody to do your media buying. So that's somebody to set up your ads, run your ads, and do all of that stuff. Again, there's different levels to this game, but understand that if you had that team beneath you, all you would have to do is shoot content and then it appears on the internet. That's one of my goals whenever I create this. I'm sitting down here shooting this for you, and then after this, I'd forget about it. Go back to the old me where I had to shoot content, edit it, clip it, upload it, put a caption with it, all that kind of stuff. It took a lot of time. It took away time from selling, it took away time from marketing, and it took away time from delivering to clients or training my team. Now, marketing as a department is designed to attract business where it never existed before. And ultimately, if I was to position you as the CEO of your business, we're not running a corporate here. We want to keep it lean and mean. I want to put you as the head of marketing or the chief of marketing. So while you create all of the content and then it gets published out and put on the internet, you get to watch it as soon as it comes out and provide feedback on it to the team. So if I look at a graphic designer, well, you can get a graphic designer for less than 1 to 2K per month, depending on where you hire them. You can get great outsourced graphic designers, or you can get them locally. To be brutally honest, you don't need to get them locally because if you live in a developed country, chances are you're going to pay way above and beyond what you could actually pay a graphic designer in somewhere like the Philippines or India that can do just as good a job. You do have to go and find them, and we'll talk about hiring and all that kind of stuff later on, but a graphic designer between 1 to 2K. A videographer, bringing them in once a month, bringing them in once every 2 weeks. I highly recommend batch shooting your content is maybe going to cost you anywhere from 2 to 3K. Heck, maybe even less. I'm putting in price points here that are relatively generous. Scheduling content, well, again, you could get your videographer or somebody like your graphic designer to do that, but getting somebody to schedule your content or manage your content might cost you like 1 to 1.5K a month. And media buyer is going to cost you anything from 2K to 3K per month. Again, depending if you are using paid ads or not. And the overall individual that's responsible for managing these people, i.e. running a weekly meeting and talking about wins, how many leads have we generated, what's working, what's not working, what are the projects for next week to manage that, is often you, the CEO, because you like to see what your marketing is doing. You could, of course, hire somebody to come in and look after your marketing, but I want to keep it really simple for a business that's under 50K per month. When it comes to sales, you need 2 clear roles. You need a closer, that's somebody to do sales calls, and you need somebody that does chats, somebody that creates conversations, closes conversations, and drives those conversations to a sales call. A closer really depends if they're going to be in part-time or full-time. For the majority of you that have around about 3 to 10 sales calls per week, you could bring in somebody part-time. If you wanted to bring them in full-time, you could get them to do your sales and your outreach together and create a more full-time package for them. That would be a really wise move if you haven't got a team. So let's run with that example. Again, there are exceptions to this because every fitness business is different and at a different size. But generally speaking, these 2 roles should be separate, where you've got somebody in chats full-time and somebody as a closer full-time, and essentially they feed into each other. The chat person feeds the closer, the marketing feeds both the closer and the chat person, but a closer is paid typically anywhere from 8 to 12% on a sale of the cash that they collect. Chats, again, they've got a base. It could be anything from 500 a month to a K, plus a small amount of commission per book call that closes. And again, the more your salespeople make, the more the business is making. If you wanted to bring that into a full-time role for somebody together, you could probably pay a base of 1.5K to 2.5K and then put their commission on top. just so that you're respecting their time, because if they're putting together reports, if they're putting together monthly overviews of total calls taken, no closes, total closes, percentage conversion, total cash collected to allow you to see your data, then there's extra work in that. The next one is then delivery. And this is essentially where you hire a head coach to essentially get you out of the weeds. And if you hired a head coach to take over all of your check, take over all of your client support, just how much time would that buy you back to then become your head of sales? So you got to manage and train your sales team and look at the numbers, and also got you to be your essentially director of success. So if you look at this, there's a bit of a hybrid between a corporate business and the roles and functions that drive business performance, and also this very much lifestyle, high profit, high margin, ultra lean business that just really repositions you as the individual responsible for driving the vision, building the team, managing the team, mentoring the team, and ultimately utilizing all of that to drive and keep your eye on cash. So if you're the head of marketing and you've got all of that underneath you operating, then you're not posting, scheduling, editing, thinking, and doing all of this stuff. If you're the head of sales, you've got your closers selling for you. Just imagine if you never had to do a sales call again, and all you did was post content, your marketing team put it together, and then it went to your salesperson, and then all of a sudden people just appeared in your program. And even better to that, you didn't have to onboard them because your head coach took care of it and also was able to do all the check-ins on your behalf. What would that allow you to do? It would allow you to focus on the vision, the people, and the cash. It would allow you to focus on marketing. It would allow you to focus on sales. And it will allow you to focus on delivery. So you hear this all the time about people working on the business versus in the business. What we're trying to do here is get you in a position where you're working on the business, not in the business, so that you can come to the marketing with the best ideas. Here's the creative stuff that I want to shoot, rather than I'm highly stressed, I'm burnt out, I'm tired, I'm just going to shoot content for the sake of it. You're not going into sales calls tired, anxious, worried that, hey, after these sales calls, I've got to go and do a ton of delivery. And you're not going into clients after realizing, oh, I just need more leads and I need more sales, but I've also got to serve these people and I've got to give them quick answers to get through all these check-ins. So you actually de-risk yourself, you give yourself more energy, and it allows you to get a bird's eye view on your business so that you can actually work on it and drive it rather than work in it and stay stuck in it. And this is really, like, genuinely, please listen to this. The difference between people that stay at 10 to 20K per month, highly stressed and anxious, to people that end up making 50, 60, 70K plus per month and end up only working 20 hours because their main focus is working on their business, training their team, and managing their team. Now, I want to share a couple of principles on this. Who do you hire first out of all of this? Well, the reality is it actually doesn't matter, because there's a couple of things that you've got to factor in. What do you hate doing the most? Who's most available to you? How much cash have you got? And let me just talk about the cash piece for a second. When you're building your business to like 10, 20K per month and it's all you will be really profitable because you haven't been spending your money. Unless you're spending your money on Rolexes and living an insane lifestyle, you will have a war chest of cash. And in the early years of your business, like the first 1 year, your main focus should be to build a war chest of cash that you can then use to hire people, buy back your time, and ultimately grow and scale your business. Because you can only get it so far. It's your team that build the business, not you. So in the earlier stages of your career, you should have a lot of cash to be able to start hiring these people. And again, it depends on what you hate doing the most, what you want to get off your plate, and who is available to you. Because you might know people that are able to come in and do some stuff. You might have clients that are available to you that have expertise and skills that you can use. So in terms of who to hire first, it generally doesn't matter. But I want to show you how the best coaches in the world do it. And we have built the best fitness businesses out there on the planet. We are the very individuals that brought the term entrepreneur into the health and fitness coaching space. So what we typically advise people to do is to, first of all, delegate their chats and their outreach, because that is essentially something that takes up a lot of time outside of coaching. The best focus for you initially is to spend as much time in fulfillment as possible to ensure that your current paying clients are receiving the value that they were promised upon the sales process, because the last thing you want is to lose clients, and we want to essentially take you away from generating new clients so that you can continue focusing on your current clients first. So if you weren't hanging around in DMs, chasing up ghost leads, making offers, you would have a lot more time to service your clients. And this is where you're getting to pay attention to the community, the clients, the needs, and really just developing an awareness of what they need. The second thing is a client success coach. This is somebody that can help you coach and do the things that you don't want to do. If you've got chats out of the way, then you get even 50% of your check-ins out of the way, or your delivery out of the way, then you're going to have a significant amount more time to sell. And the final stage is when you get the sales out of the way, is when you really have massive freedom. Now, you're probably going to ask me about the graphic designer, the videographer, and all that kind of stuff. But to be honest, you can hire that at the same time as doing the chats, the client success. And for most coaches, they already have that outsourced. So you can actually just click your fingers, go and find somebody local to get them to do that very quickly, or go online and get a graphic designer. The biggest challenge might be finding somebody to schedule your content, or a media buyer, but media buying is a really easy art to hire for nowadays because everyone knows how to do it. So essentially, who you hire really boils down to what you find most frustrating in the resources that you have available. And if you want to know how to do that, I suggest that you write 3 columns down, and you do this exercise after this video. Number 1 is frustrating. The stuff that you find frustrating. Write all that down. The next stuff is the stuff that you find okay, and then the stuff that you find fascinating. So everything that you find frustrating, everything that you find okay, and everything that you find fascinating. All the stuff that is in the fascinating column is ultimately where you want to be spending the majority of your time, because that's what you enjoy the most and where you can provide the most value to the business. Everything that is in the frustrating and okay column is essentially a job role. And what you want to do is you want to organize that into 3 areas. You want to organize that into what is marketing related, what is sales related, and what is delivery related. So delivery is coaching, sales is obviously sales, and marketing is client acquisition. And you want to build a role around each of those departments and then hire for them accordingly by posting on Instagram or the social media platform that you're at, that you're expanding, that you've got a job opportunity, that you'd love somebody to come in and work with you and help you build this thing into a world-class movement. And then you've got to also interview them as well, in terms of asking them their experience, their skills, how long they've been following you, what they know, have they ever worked in anything like this before, and here's the rules, what do they like, what do they not like, what would they consider a challenge, and ultimately just read and find the best fit. Then you've got to onboard those team members and train them up on how you think, how you build the business, how the business generates leads, how the business generates results, the top 10 problems of your clients, and then ultimately how to make decisions without you being there. If you train your team up like that, then they become autonomous, and then they can help you grow the business without asking you, what do I do when? And then you tie it all together with weekly meetings for each department. Weekly meetings for marketing, weekly meetings for sales, weekly meetings for client success, and that is the glue that allows you to get your freedom. So your ultimate main focus is working on the business, training your team, running meetings with your team, problem solving with your team, but each of those team members acts as a force multiplier for you to be able to generate value outside of yourself so that you can grow. And that's ultimately how you build a team for your fitness business. And just keep this in mind, a team member allows you to play to your strength because it pulls you away from something that you don't want to do or essentially aren't good at, so that you can focus on more of the stuff that you are good at. Good team members, yes, you have to pay them, but they will ROI 10x what they cost. That's the purpose of a team member, is to bring an ROI and help the business grow. You don't bring on a team member to end up injecting a cost into the business that doesn't return. And if you do have a team member that is a cost, you will very quickly able to spot that, because they're not going to be ROIing on it. And you can get rid of them and you can replace them. But in most cases where team members need to be developed is by you training them on how to think, and you training them on how you built this business, and you training them on your customer and how your customer thinks. So keep all of that in mind. The growth of your business is in direct correlation to the quality of thinking and the decisions that your team make outside of you. So imagine if you had somebody looking after your client success and deciding what training are we going to run? What events are we going to run? How do we change or improve the check-in process? And you didn't even know it was happening. That is going to allow you to sleep in your bed at night and rest without worrying about having to do everything in your business. The worst place that you can find yourself in a business is being a COE, a chief of everything. It's not safe. It's not wise. And if you look at this team, there's not many there. And if you're really good at what you do and you've already got natural demand for your business, then guess what? Putting this team in is going to blow you up. And if it blows you up, then guess what happens? People get to hear about you more. You get to work with more people. If you've built your team correctly, you're going to get better results. And ultimately, you're going to be able to dominate the marketplace faster. The reason why you can't dominate it is because you're spread thin. The reason why you find marketing hard is because you know that more clients equals more stress. If you were to double your business right now and the first thing that would be to break is you don't have a business, you have got a liability. And that is a big problem because you're not going to be able to sustain it. So building a team is actually the next challenge, the next focus for you, because it's ultimately going to transform you into a leader. It's going to transform you into the real entrepreneur that you were designed to be. And every challenge in business is there to grow you and develop you and shape you into becoming a better entrepreneur. Posting stuff on Instagram and doing sales calls and staying stuck in the weeds is very low level. There is a completely new level out there. And no matter what niche that you're in, you can do it. No matter how busy you are right now, is even the greater reason to do it. If you're really busy and you're spread thin and you can't hire a team, that's the exact reason why you need to build a team, because your time is being spread across so many different things. And if you're not happy with where your revenue is at right now, then guess what? The chances of you growing it above and beyond where you're currently stuck and overwhelmed at are slim to none. The only way that you're going to do that is by creating extra capacity for your business to grow and breathe. And you do that by hiring team. So those are the lessons. The real question as to whether or not you need to do this. If you were to double your business right now, what is the first thing that would break? If you're secretly getting pissed off at new clients coming in and the work involved, you're already too late and you're losing opportunity and you're losing cash. If you secretly hope for sales calls to cancel, if you struggle to market because you know it's going to bring in a flood of inquiries that you have to respond to, then you don't have a business, you've got a liability. Yes, it's scary, but so is starting a business in the first place. Do you know what's even scarier? Is you not hiring a team and missing out on the thousands of lives that you could change, never mind the millions that you could generate through the very thing that you never thought was going to make you rich, but actually will once you play the right moves. If you're addicted to growing your fitness business, please make sure that you subscribe to this channel. We will teach you how to build a real fitness business, not a hobby, not something that is a one-man band, but something that ultimately allows you to create the best possible future for you, your family, and your clients. Make sure you follow this page, and if you want any help in building a team, do not hesitate to reach out, because we are the best in the game at doing this, and that is our #1 focus, is to give you the business that makes you the money, the freedom, and the reputation and status that you dreamed of when you first decided to take a risk on yourself and build a fitness business. Make sure you subscribe, and see you in the next video.